guys, it's Rhino100 and welcome to this review of Crysis 3. This time I'll take a look at this first-person shooter developed by Crytek. And Crysis has been known for many years as the benchmark testers for modern PCs. Starting with Crysis 1, who was melting PCs, and then we have Crysis 2, who was known as one of the best looking console games out there and probably one of the best PC games out there. And then we have Crysis 3. And the big question for many is, does Crysis 3 look awesome? Yes, I can assure you that this is a step up from Crysis 2, who was, in my opinion, a little bit disappointing. But this is a true successor to Crysis 1. So what is Crysis? Well, Crysis is a first-person shooter who is known for its sandbox type of gameplay, where you pretty much control this. The main character is Prophet, who is a soldier with this nanosuit. The nanosuit gives you different powers, all from extra sprint, incredible strength. You can turn invisible. You can almost become a walking tank. And that is really what Crysis is all about, using the nanosuit's power in the gameplay to overcome your enemies. And it started with the first one, with the North Koreans and the reveal of the alien race who has been hiding on Earth for many years, or was dormant. And then we have Crysis 2, which brings back both the aliens and this military group called Cell. With Crysis 3 we get the conclusion about Prophet's story. We get one of the most important theme in the entire series, which is, are you really human or are you really just a machine? Do the suit make you one of them? And there's a lot of things going around here, but this is one of the most personal stories I have seen in the Crysis series. It is much more personal than the Crysis 2, and even better written than Crysis 1, I will say. This is a huge step up when it comes to story and storytelling, and for my part, this is the best campaign of them all. They are combining what was Crysis. In Crysis 1, you had this immensely jungle, this island and free roaming. In Crysis 2, you had New York, tall buildings, and these are mixing both of them because this is actually 7 years after Crysis 2, and Prophet has been awake. He's waking up, and he's haunted by visions about the future and what's going to happen in the future, and he wants to prevent that, of course, because that means the end of the world, pretty much. What's happening is that he needs to stop Cell, the military group that is taking over the world, and he also needs to stop the aliens that no one know is coming, so they need to be prepared for that. And it's still as fun as ever killing aliens in this game, I can assure you of that. But for that part, storytelling is a huge step up. The music is fantastic. The story goes around Prophet trying to stop Cell and defend the planet from the aliens. When it comes to presentation, this one is going to melt your PC. Even my PC, which is a pretty good PC, wasn't able to run this on max settings. You'll probably need something like GTX 680s or 690s for playing this on full settings. This is an incredible looking game. Probably the best looking game I've seen so far. The water, the textures, the particles, everything looks amazing when you cramp up the settings. I was playing this on high and it was an incredible experience. The music is just great, trying to tie you to the moment, which it does in a very cinematic way. And yes, this does sound like a 10 out of 10 single player experience, but there is a couple of drawbacks. One, you do have very scripted sequences that does require almost like quick time events, and even though they are fine for the most part, there are some annoyances with them. The second thing, the single player will take you 5 hours to complete on an average playthrough. 5 hours, that's not really much time, the previous single players from Crysis has been much longer, almost 10 hours, 12 hours, and this was merely 5 hours, but they are good 5 hours, really good 5 hours, so I would say it's worth it. If I had the option to buy just a single player, I would do that. The one thing that drags down the game, it does have a multiplayer component, and the multiplayer is fine. It's great. There's just a couple of problems. There's just a couple of problems with the balance. It's really fun when 16 nanosuited soldiers are duking it out on the battlefield. That's really fun. And the hunter mode is geniusly made. Where you can control two of the aliens, and you're going around with the bow, trying to hunt down the normal soldiers. That's just awesome. And I played this at the LAN party, and it was a great experience. People were screaming because they were afraid of the hunters, and that was awesome. The normal player is also very well done. You have 12 great maps, great looking maps, by the way. They're probably the best looking multiplayer maps I've ever seen for a game, and that does say a lot. And the gameplay is fine. The unlock system works. They aren't really trying to make a whole new type of experience, since this is pretty much like Crysis 2. There are a problem with the balance with Invisible, which is pretty much useless. And then you got so here we are, my final verdict on Crysis 3. Is Crysis 3 worth buying? Yes, it is. Is it worth buying on release? I will say so. I'm going to give this game 8.5 out of 10. I'm not giving it a 9 just because the short single player experience. I really want a longer single player experience, and you can actually play through this multiple times without being afraid of seeing the same thing over and over again, because there are just so many ways you can do things. There are huge maps, the scale of this is immense. And yeah, it's just an incredible game, but not awesome game. It doesn't live up to the hype where you will get a 9 or a 10. And there are some bugs here and there. Of course, this is Crytek, so most of the bugs are not there on release, but it did happen, when the bow disappeared out of nowhere, and yeah, I was just having to restart the game. Also, I did have some problem with lag on the multiplayer. I'm not sure if that was because of me or because of other people, but I just thought it was worth mentioning. Yeah, but that's pretty much Crysis 3 in a nutshell. Crysis 3, great game, go and buy it. If you like first-person shooters, if you play Halo, I really recommend this one. And even if you haven't played any first-person shooter, if you played Call of Duty, I'll say it's worth taking a look. You may be surprised about what you can find. You can become one of the most powerful soldiers ever created. And the final question is really, are you a man or a machine? Yeah, but I will leave that to you guys, and I see you guys next time.